Probably go out and have drinks after. Seems to be exciting.
As long as there's not four of us. Actually, we'll be done, it won't matter.
Let's go. Hey, welcome everybody. Grand Forks City Council Committee of the Whole, Monday, June 10th. Item 1, call to order, 1.1, welcome and roll call.
Weigel. Here. Osowski.
Here.
Weber. Here. Lunsky.
Here.
Kabami. Sandy.
Here.
Vian. Here. We have quorum.
Great. Item 3.1, Town Square Playground Replacement. The playground equipment's looking old and tired and the rubber needs to be replaced. Any thoughts?
Move approval.
Moved by Weigel, second by Osowski. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Item 3.2, Dispatch Personnel Service Contract. Ms. LaHaye, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the committee. I'm here tonight, similar to where we were last year, for approval of a proposal for dispatch personnel service to support our staffing personnel. This year, I come with two options. There's now two companies that provide this service. One of them is Motivations, a company that we had worked with last year. That is option number one. They would waive the launch fee, similar. We've worked with them before. There would be no need for that. We would be looking to fill two positions, 12 hours each, that would complement each other on nights. 12 hours per day provides the shift coverage that we would need to provide the support for our personnel. The overall with that is they would be able to start sooner since we've worked with them before. Staff, one of the challenges is that staff is not required to work holidays or weekends, so that became a challenge for us previously when we worked with them. Some of the other challenges that we found is that the logistics. It wasn't necessarily individuals that were assigned to our department and then became part of our staff, so to speak. It was several people that would come and go when they were available. The other company that is new that started last fall is Get Rescue 911. They're just similar to what you would think of as traveling nurses, where they are contracted, they provide two individuals up front, they're trained, they become more or less part of your staff for that entire contract. And they would get a stipend versus the logistics with Motivations that could vary depending on how many people they would have coming and going. Option number 2 seems to be a little bit more stable and consistent, and those individuals would be able to become more part of our staff. So our recommendation, or what we're looking for a recommendation, is to utilize Get Rescue for the next 6 months to provide the staffing to fill the gap that we have right now.
Ms. LaHaye, questions? Yes, Ms. Osowski?
Are we doing anything to hire our own staff? And with option 2, are they going to fulfill the needs of the nights and weekends?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We are continuing to work with our HR department, doing different talent acquisitions. We've looked at different places to recruit, also like direct hire through hiring personnel services. That comes with a cost though too, which this will provide people that are trained right away. So they would be able to come in right away. So they would be working holidays, weekends. We would schedule them as we needed instead of working through the other company to schedule. Did that answer that?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think she also asked, what are you doing to hire our own?
Hire right now.
Yes.
We have a hiring process open right now. This is the second round this year. The previous 3 that we had in our training program left just due to personal reasons, and it wasn't the right fit for them and their family. So that's where we've kind of found ourselves.
Mr. Weigel, comments?
I'm not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Osowski. Carry on, please.
So has anybody done the math on like what the hourly wage would be that we're paying out for either one of these options versus the hourly wage that we pay currently?
Yep. So the option number one, the hourly wage, we pay $27.60 to start.
Okay.
So they would be paid the $32.64. Option number two, Get Rescued takes $10 off the top. That's what they take. They were very upfront. That's what they take as a business. So the individuals would be paid $40, which is comparable to an overtime rate. So that would be pretty much what we would be paying our staff to work those same hours. Minus the benefits we would pay our staff.
Thank you.
Mr. Weigel, did you have a comment or question?
I think that it's important that we get dispatchers in. They play a really vital role. I know it's tough on current staff that are there right now, filling those shifts. And so while this isn't ideal, at the same time, it probably needs to be done in the meantime. And I think we've made a lot of good strides of bumping the hourly rate. I think dispatch is probably one of the hardest jobs. I think it's harder at times than being a firefighter or a police officer, because in those roles, when you see the emergency, you can actually see the resolution and how it ends. I couldn't imagine just taking the phone call and hearing the screams or, whatever the case may be, and not knowing that final resolution. So they do a really important job. We need to find a way that we can continue to keep good dispatchers and keep good staff within the dispatch center, so.
Yeah, Mr. Weber, yes, sir.
I'll move approval.
There's a motion, sure. Is there a
Do we
second?
have to pick an option, or are we just?
She's staff recommendation. She wants the, okay, second by Osowski. Further comments? Yes, Ms. Linsky?
Is there ever a way to look at the reverse, like where you can outsource calls? So if the dispatchers are short and a call comes through, they can't answer it, can it be rerouted to a service that's not in Grand Forks?
Typically, if you're going to reroute the calls or if we want to offload calls, we have our 911 lines that we would answer. Those would maintain our priority to answer those, and those are about 25% of the calls that we take. The other calls are like the admin calls that come in for like the police department line or the sheriff's office line or UND. We're working with those agencies, or also like public education, like if it's a non-emergency, is there other ways to find the resources that they may need to report things online instead of making those phone calls? So we are working with our authority board and like our public safety partners to help with that side of it.
Maybe if I could, also maybe Shannon, discuss with Councilmember Linsky. So we are also tied to the Fargo-Moorhead dispatch.
Yep.
And so if something would happen, there's redundancy. So
There's
that if someone
redundancy,
didn't
yes.
show up for shift or something catastrophic, what would you do in that
If there was
event?
something catastrophic, we have the system where us and Fargo are tied, like our phone systems are tied together. So we could offload it to Fargo if they're capable to take it. And then with our radio system that we have statewide, we could utilize that for communication as well.
I guess it's frustrating knowing that there's so many places in Grand Forks that can't hire. And raising the hourly rate doesn't seem to be that motivating to people, just trying to think of other ways to encourage people to move here. Thank you.
Well, one other thought, perhaps. I know we had a few people in training and they just for one reason or another decided to move and do something else. Perhaps instead of having 3 in training, we should have 6.
We are looking at that as well. Just the number of people that we have for trainers or admin. Positive news, we had somebody who left us in November and is coming back and bringing some of her co-workers to apply as well. So she's going to be starting here relatively soon. So
Thank you.
that's one positive.
It's very positive. There's a motion and a second. Further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3.3, award bid 2024-7 for handheld 4-year transform infrared spectroscopy device and accessories. This is a grant that we're getting, moved by Weigel, second by Osowski. Further comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 3.4, who wants to move approval on the Columbia Road overpass rehabilitation because we haven't got the bids till the 14th? We'll move it to council. Moved by Osowski, second by Weigel. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. 3.5, construction engineering for project 8656 intersection improvements, Belmont Road and South Fifth Street. Mr. Krako.
Thank you, President Sandy, members of the committee. This is a DOT-led, or a DOT-funded project, I should say. Ended up going through the DOT selection process when it comes to selecting construction engineering firms. 3 firms submitted on this project, and the most qualified firm was determined to be Woodseth. After negotiating with them, we're looking at a contract in the not-to-exceed amount of $220,000, and with that, staff is recommending approval.
Moved by Osowski. Is there a second? Second by Veen. Further comment? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, David. Item 3.6, EDA funding application, project 8795 70th Avenue North reconstruction. Mr. Phelan, we're applying for another grant.
We are. This is the EDA grant, and 70th Avenue North, that is on the southerly border of where Epitome Energy would go, and so that this is would be the main road that would go into the site. It would be a concrete road. And so there's fortunate for us, there was a disaster grant. Grand Forks County's, state of North Dakota is including it in it. Grand Forks County is, and so we can apply for dollars to make our community more resilient and from an economic development perspective. And so some of our staff reached out to the regional administrators, staff folks that are in our region, and they felt like the 78th Avenue North would fit the criteria the best. And so we plan to submit it. It'll take some time, and I think by the time we hopefully receive word that we received the grant, I think we'll have further information on Epitome Energy. We are also working on some other projects in this area that could utilize this road. Right now, we don't, the other partner we need right now is Grand Forks County because the road is in the county, as we've talked to you about with Epitome Energy. When it does come in, we would annex this road so the city would maintain it. And so, but right now, we don't want to annex roads that we don't know for sure we want to maintain. So we'll ask for the county to be a partner on this grant application as we move forward. The application timeline is open until the money's gone. And so that's the urgency right now, that we get our application submitted in advance of the money going to other various projects.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Phelan. Questions from Mr. Phelan? Anybody want to apply for the grant for 70th Avenue North? Mr. Veen moves approval, second by Weber. Great. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item 3.7, City of Grand Forks Organizational Restructuring Environmental Management Department.
Thank you. Good
Ms.
afternoon.
Bovet, good evening.
Good evening, Council President Sandy, members of the committee. What I'm bringing before you this evening is a request to approve an organizational restructure for the city, including the creation of an environmental management department with an associated promotion of our Assistant Waterworks Director to the Director of Environmental Management, in addition to relocation of the city's mosquito control program under this newly formed Environmental Management Department. Also associated with this restructure is a regrade of the mosquito control supervisor position to account for additional duties absorbed by this position as a result of the restructure. Our current Assistant Waterworks Director, Lisa Botnan, has been functioning at the executive level for some time. The level of her responsibilities and duties match those of a department head. This employee has been housed in the water department, yet truly serves across the entirety of the city. The position manages all aspects of environmental and regulatory compliance, works closely across all departments of the city, including and alongside the mayor, city administrator, city council, as well as consultants on managing various city projects. As you are aware, Todd Hansen, our mosquito control manager, who had been with the city for well over 20 years and effectively built our mosquito control program into what it is today, recently retired. Todd, alongside with our mosquito control supervisor, Eric Nelson, have managed the program as a subset of public health since its inception. With Mr. Hansen's departure comes an opportunity to bring the Mosquito Control Division into the newly created Department of Environmental Management that will be able to provide assistance and support in operations and staffing. The Mosquito Control Fund is currently a separately operated fund and would remain as such. As described in the staff report, the organizational restructuring would include the restructure of the position of the Assistant Waterworks Director to the Director of Environmental Management and the regrade of the Mosquito Control Supervisory position. Neither the Assistant Waterworks Director position nor the Mosquito Control Manager position will be backfilled as part of this restructure. The approximate savings is $78,000. Ms. Botnan and Mr. Phelan are available for questions on the specifics of the Environmental Department, Management Department, and the operations moving forward. With this little snapshot of information, does anybody have questions regarding the restructure and associated requests?
Questions, Ms. Osowski?
So with us developing like a whole new department, how many people do we think that we're going to need to staff this new department? And are any of them like coming over from public health and are going to be a part of this new department, and how many?
So under the environmental manager, who will be Lisa Botnan, she currently has 3 laboratory staff as well as 2 environmental specialists currently working under her. And so then the only other staff that would come over that's a full-time staff would be Eric Nelson, the mosquito control supervisor. There is approximately 40 part-time seasonal staff that we employ in the summer. And those have already been hired and would move alongside.
And, okay, they'll report to this new department then, correct?
Pardon?
They'll report to the new department, the
Correct.
40 seasonal staff?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Great. Further questions? Yeah, Ms. Linsky?
So where does the savings of 78,000 come in?
In part, it's the savings of not backfilling the mosquito control manager position.
Yeah, Mr. Veen? Yes, sir.
Do we have, one of the things I've been interested in for a while is the organizational structure for how people are answering within the city, primarily where I'm thinking of Public Works. I don't need that now, but can I see what that looks like?
Absolutely.
And because there'd be some change in that, but you'd be able to see kind of how things are restructured, right?
Absolutely, I can include that.
Okay, thank you.
Send that out to the council.
And this, not probably unexpected, this is a contract position. It's going from a civil service to a contract position.
That is correct.
Further questions? Moved by Weber, second by Weigel. Further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Opposed.
Motion carries. Mr. Veen dissents. He doesn't like Lisa Botnan.
She's really hard to get, she's really hard to get along
She's
with.
terrible, right? No, of course. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Council members for discussion. Mr. Weigel, anything for the
I'd
good of
just
the
say,
order?
get out and vote tomorrow if you haven't voted early.
Get out and vote. There
A
you
lot of
go.
stuff on the ballot, so
Yep.
make your voice heard.
Sosowski?
I ditto Mr. Wagle.
Great. Ms. Linsky?
I was curious, if we don't build an intercity bridge, one of the options is widening Belmont, or I was wondering if we could get a presentation on what that would look like, or what changes need to be done to Belmont to accommodate the extra traffic.
Mr. Carrico, do you have that in your back pocket?
Unfortunately, President Sandy and Councilmember Lunsky, I don't have that in my back pocket. However, a few years back, we did do a traffic study, a traffic impact study, and so I can bring that forward probably at City Council next week.
Okay, and specifically, like what Belmont would look like, the changes, how, I've been walking it a lot, and I don't understand how you would widen it.
And Councilmember Lunsky, I believe the traffic impact study, I don't believe it showed widening Belmont. I believe it showed intersection changes for particularly Belmont and Fourth, but I can delve into that and get that information over to you as well.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Veen? No? Mr. Weber?
Get out and vote.
Yep, vote. Tomorrow's an important day. Do your civic duty. Thanks. Is there a motion to adjourn? By Osowski, second by Weigel. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Good meeting. Thanks, everybody.